Hey, what's up guys? My name is Prestige and I've been playing a lot of Dark Souls. Admittedly, I did not originally start with Dark Souls. I actually started with Bloodborne on the PlayStation 4, but that game really got me into understanding the lore and just pretty much everything about the From Software titles. I started to watch a lot of videos about Dark Souls and I decided to pick it up for myself, and I really haven't looked back. So this video is going to be giving you guys 5 reasons to pick up Dark Souls 3 regardless if you played the previous ones or not. Before we start this thing, I just want to let you guys know as a disclaimer, I am not the best Dark Souls player out there. In fact, I'm a noob at it, and that's exactly why I love the series so much. At first, when I saw Dark Souls and started watching videos about it, I knew it was a very difficult game, but you really don't get the general understanding of how difficult it really is until you die over and over and over again. So hopefully this helps a lot of the newbies out there decide whether or not they want to pick up the game, because it was a YouTube video just like this one that made me take the first step into the Dark Souls series. So I hope you guys enjoy, but let's kick things off with number 5, and that is difficulty level. When you first join the Dark Souls game, you don't get to select a difficulty. Everybody's on the same exact difficulty, and it's hard. You're gonna die. Even the most veteran players out there die from accidental slip-ups, falling off of cliffs, to just getting reposted by an enemy and slammed into the ground. Even though that was one of the things that kind of kept me away from the series for so long, I'm glad that I got to experience Bloodborne, because it was more or less an intro to what I could expect with the Dark Souls games. So going back and actually seeing that the difficulty was even a little bit higher because movement's a little bit slower in Dark Souls 1 and 2, it's just a lot of fun still to have that learning curve. And after you dominate a part that you're stuck on, it's very rewarding. You feel very accomplished and you're ready to go on to the next mystery. And speaking more about mysteries, that takes us into number 4. Finding secrets, Easter eggs, hidden paths, and just stuff that really is off the beaten path. There are plenty of weapons, NPCs, items, and more importantly bosses that you can find off the beaten path, and once you accomplish some of these optional bosses, you feel even better about yourself for defeating them. And once again, dropping from number 4 down to number 3, we have the boss fights. Boss fights are probably the biggest spectacle you're going to find in the Dark Souls series. You kind of work your way through all of these little enemies, and then finally, once you reach the boss, you're gonna get your ass kicked unless you know exactly what you're doing. Learning the boss's movesets, rolling out of the way, dodging, and hopefully getting the victory is one of the best feelings in a Dark Souls game, because then you realize what you've been through, what you've accomplished, and you can really just get a taste of what you can expect coming up next. Bosses generally go from easier to harder throughout the entire game, but some bosses have their own weaknesses, others have strengths, and you're really gonna have to go all out with that when it comes to number 2. Customization. Now there are many different classes that you could choose from. Some, for example, swordsman, bandit, you could be a knight, you could be a warrior, and all of these are just classes that give you starting attributes. If you really wanted to go all out, you could start as deprived and you'd be level 1 with all your stats set to 6, and that's how like the hardest of hardcore players play. But if you really wanted to start with something, you could choose a class of your own. Not to mention you're able to actually customize the facial features of your character, the build of your character, male or female, and you could really make the game feel like your own, which is something that I truly appreciate, because it's a journey that you're going to be experiencing overall with the character that you've created. And now finally, for that number 1 spot, there's so many things that could be here, but I want to just put down replayability. No matter how many times you play the game, it can still get harder and harder and harder, especially with the new Game Plus feature where all the enemies get harder. You get to keep everything and move on to the next game and just kind of start all over again, or you could just start a whole brand new character, go in and be a different class, or start deprived, or do whatever you want to do. Replayability is at an all-time high. Once you really learn what you're doing and once you know where you need to go, it's a lot of fun to re-explore certain places, see things that you may not have necessarily seen before, and find new secrets and optional boss fights that you may not have experienced in the playthrough before. PS4, especially when it comes down to using a specific weapon. For example, I know that it might not be the best, but I'm in love with the fire sword that I found in the beginning of the game when I was level 6. It's just a lot of fun to use. I've upgraded it all the way by now, and I've been kicking bosses' asses with this thing, and I just enjoy it overall. So I'm really excited for Dark Souls 3. It's going to be coming out in the next couple weeks now. I know that Japan already has it. There's a bunch of gameplay here on YouTube, but I've been purposely avoiding it because I'm so excited for it. I can't wait. I'm like super stoked. And like I said, I started on Bloodborne. It was just a game that got me into the From Software games, and I went back and played Dark Souls, and I don't regret it at all. 100% do not regret it. So Dark Souls 2, The Scholar of the First Sin, is on Xbox One, PC, as well as the PS4. The PS4 gameplay is what you're seeing on the screen right now, and I own it on both Xbox One and PS4. I don't know what it is. I just love the game overall, and I cannot wait for Dark Souls 3. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you were kind of on the fence about it, let me know down below in the comments section. Are you going to plan on getting Dark Souls? Are you going to try Scholar of the First Sin? Let me know what you think. But don't forget to click that like button down below and subscribe for more awesome videos coming very soon. Until next time, guys, I will see ya. Peace.